Alice in Wonderland, Chapter 12. Alice's Evidence. "Here!" cried Alice, quite forgetting, in the flurry of the moment, how large she had grown in the last few minutes. She jumped up in such a hurry that she tipped over the jury box with the edge of her skirt, upsetting all the jurymen onto the heads of the crowd below, and there they lay sprawling about. "Oh, I beg your pardon," she exclaimed, and began picking them up again as quickly as she could. "The trial cannot proceed," said the king in a very grave voice, "until all the jurymen are back in their proper places. All," he repeated with great emphasis, looking hard at Alice as he said so. As soon as the jury had recovered a little from the shock of being upset, and their slates and pencils had been found and handed back to them, they set to work very diligently to write out a history of the accident. "What do you know about this business?" the king said to Alice. "Nothing whatsoever," said Alice. "That's very important," the king said, turning to the jury. They were just beginning to write this down on their slates when the White Rabbit interrupted. "Unimportant, Your Majesty means, of course," he said in a very respectful tone, but frowning and making faces at him as he spoke. "Unimportant, of course, is what I meant," the king hastily said. Some of the jury wrote it down, important, and some unimportant. Alice could see this as she was near enough to look over their slates. At this moment the king, who had been for some time busily writing in his notebook, cackled out, "Silence!" and read out from his book Rule 42, "All persons more than a mile high to leave the court." "I'm not a mile high," said Alice. "You are," said the king. "Nearly 2 miles high," said the queen. "Well, I shan't go, at any rate," said Alice. "Besides, that's not a regular rule. You invented it just now." "It's the oldest rule in the book," said the king. "Then it ought to be number 1, said Alice. The king turned pale and shut his notebook hastily. "Consider your verdict," he said to the jury in a low, trembling voice. "Your Majesty, we still have more evidence," said the White Rabbit. He unfolded the paper as he spoke and added, "It's a set of verses. It seems to be written by the prisoner to somebody." "Who is it directed to?" asked one of the jurymen. "It isn't directed at all," said the White Rabbit. "In fact, there's nothing written on the outside." He unfolded the paper as he spoke and added, "It isn't a letter after all. It's a set of verses." "Are they in the prisoner's handwriting?" asked another of the jurymen. "No, they're not," said the White Rabbit. "And that's the queerest thing about it." The jury all looked puzzled. "He must have imitated somebody else's hand," said the king. The jury all brightened up again. "Please, Your Majesty," said the knave, "I didn't write it, and they can't prove that I did. There's no name signed at the end." "If you didn't sign it," said the king, "that only makes the matter worse. You must have meant some mischief, or else you'd have signed your name like an honest man." There was a general clapping of hands at this. It was the first really clever thing the king had said that day. "That proves his guilt," said the queen. "It proves nothing of the sort," said Alice. "Why, you don't even know what it's about." The king ordered the rabbit to read it. These were the verses the White Rabbit read. "They told me you had been to her and mentioned me to him. She gave me a good character, but said I could not swim. He sent them word I had not gone. We know it to be true. If she should push the matter on, what would become of you? I gave her one, they gave him two. You gave us three or more. They all returned from him to you, though they were mine before. If I or she should chance to be involved in this affair, he trusts to you to set them free, exactly as we were. My notion was that you had been, before she had this fit, an obstacle that came between him and ourselves and it. Don't let him know she liked them best, for this must ever be a secret kept from all the rest, between yourself and me. That's the most important piece of evidence we've heard yet, said the king, after hearing it. If any one of them can explain it, said Alice, I don't believe there's an atom of meaning in it. She had grown so large in the last few minutes that she wasn't a bit afraid of interrupting him. Stay tuned for the second part of chapter 12.